In this video, I'll be creating a sheep face using our 8x8 pixel grid. This will be part of our Minecraft style series I'm working on. If you've seen the fixed version already, this one's similar but slightly different. So this is the stamp I'm using. This is the color stamp variation. We do have an embossed version available as well, which is similar, but you won't be able to get the same two-toning effect with that. So with this stamp, you can keep it simple, or you can dial it up a notch, add a few different shades, and sort of just give it that real neat pixel art look, which is what we'll be doing today. So in terms of colors, I'll be using a white fondant. I haven't actually colored this. This is the standard color. There is a bit of opacity to it, so if you did want, you could add some of the Sugar Arts Master Elite white powder, which it doesn't change too much, but you can definitely tell the difference in terms of opacity. I then have a small amount of grey that I'll be using. Then we have 3 shades of tan. So this will be my main tan color. And then I'll be incorporating some lighter tan and darker tan squares. We then have our pink for the snout and a lighter pink for the bottom of the snout. And then we've got some black for the eyes. All of these have been coloured with the Master Elite gel colours or powder colours. I can give you some more information on that if you guys want. Just let me know in the comments. Okay, to get started, we're just going to dust the stamp with some corn flour. We'll knock off any excess corn flour. Okay, so I'm going to come on with our main tan colour. I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm just going to basically spread it out over the stamp. And then I can remove any squares that I don't want coloured in. So the face covers, so 2 squares down, it starts on that 3rd square across, and then it finishes off at the bottom through there. So I'm just going to fill in these 5 rows. It doesn't go all the way to each end, so that's fine. And don't stress too much if you notice you have some little pieces coming out, so we can fix that up as we're going. So we just get it so it's all smooth and level. I forgot to mention, I'm using a scraper. It's just made out of acrylic. It is square, so you can use the corners to sort of line everything up. We sell this on our website along with some little needles. So you get a pack of 5 needles, and they're just little acupuncture needles. And you can use these to pick out all your stray bits of icing that you don't want in your stamp. These are great for designs that have a lot finer detail. We're going to remove the squares we don't want. So we're going to make sure that this bottom line is empty. Then we're going to make sure that this second row from the top is empty. Our face doesn't come right out to the sides, so we will remove the edges on each side. At the bottom of the face, it comes in 2 and goes up 2. So we'll remove this one and this one. And then that is our face. So that's our basic face there. What we're going to do is we're going to remove the eyes, which start in the middle of this 3 rows, and there's 2 on each side, and then we're going to remove the part for the snout. Now, rather than trying to fill in these areas, what I'm going to show you is a little trick that sort of helps you keep the work area clean. We're just going to take a bit of black icing for our eyes, and we're just going to pop it up here. There's not much going on around it. We're going to take our scraper and we're just going to scrape across. I'm going to scrape across again. Make sure it's all level, and then we're going to pick out, get rid of these bits of scrap. There's a tiny little piece here. I'll just use my fondant to pick that up. Now we have perfect little squares up here. What I'm going to do is I will simply remove them and put them where the eyes need to be. And then we're going to do the exact same thing with our pink. Just make sure that there's no black. I really should have started with the lighter colours, just in case we did get some transfer. But it looks pretty clean to me. We're not going to colour in this white section here because we are stamping onto white, so that will transfer through, so there's no point in doing that. You may want to apply a bit more corn flour in between, just in case it starts to get a bit sticky. So we'll move on and do the snout. Okay, so basically we could stamp this right now and you would have a cute little face, but if we want to dial it up a notch, we can sort of add some shading throughout. To do so, we're basically going to do exactly the same thing we did here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out a few squares that I'm going to shade for the face, that is. With the wool area, I'm just going to apply a few random bits of this light grey throughout, and then when we stamp it, we'll get a cute little pixel effect. Just with the face, looking at a few pictures online, it looks like it starts lighter up the top and it gets darker down the bottom. So I'll just sprinkle a few light areas through the top, and then down the bottom I'll probably replace these 2, and then that'll probably do it, I reckon. We're going to roll out our base icing. First we want to knead it until it's sticky, because we want it to grab on to the icing that's in the stamp already. Once it's sticky enough, I'm going to dust the bench with some corn flour, because we don't want it to stick to the bench. Try to avoid getting corn flour on top of the icing. I'm just going to roll it out to about 3 millimeters high. I'm going to pull it off the bench and just dust underneath it again, because when we stamp we'll apply a bit of pressure, so I don't want it to stick to the bench. Okie dokes. So we'll take our stamp again, try to avoid getting any corn flour on that side as well. And we're just going to place it icing side down on the fondant. We're going to apply some firm, even pressure across the stamp. Then once we're happy with that, we'll just lift the stamp off and everything should have transferred. We'll then take our brush. We'll just dust off any excess icing that may be there. And then we can lift this up. And then we have our design. Now to cut this out, what we want to do is we want to gently place the cutter on top of the design. Then we want to push in the edges so that the lines are all inside of the cutter. Okay, now that everything's inside of the cutter, what I'm going to do is I'm sort of going to pull back on each corner, and this will help line up the edges with the inside of the cutter. Okay, so once you're happy with that, you can just press down and cut. Okay, there we have it, a sheep face on my prosthetic cookie. So let's compare. Here's the fixed version. Obviously, if you went this way, you would need to buy each individual face, but it does give you nice clean lines and you don't have that grid. It really depends on what you prefer. Then we have our grid design. This one gives you a lot more flexibility. You only need to buy one stamp, and then you can pretty much do any character, any pixelated sort of design you want. And it just gives you that added flexibility to add in all these different shades, whereas this one, it's a bit harder. So it's totally up to you what you would prefer. I like them both. They both have their place. But if you want to save money, this one's the way to go.